On July 5th,
This week marks 75 years of a service
the new National Health Service starts.
for so long treasured by so many.
Hospitals and specialist services, medicines, drugs and appliances.
But today the NHS under strain not seen before, putting huge pressure on a government that has promised progress. The Health Secretary clear change and adaptation is necessary.
I think the NHS will need to evolve much more onto prevention rather than simply looking at treatment. Part of that evolution, I think, will be much more focused on prevention and treating conditions early.
The ongoing COVID inquiry looking at exactly that, how to prepare and to prevent. But the NHS's problems began long before the pandemic.
No one is saying there weren't any challenges before the pandemic. Indeed, why the then Prime Minister May brought forward a long-term plan.
You acknowledge that between 2010 and up to Theresa May being Prime Minister, targets were missed, that a long-term plan comes in. Then we have the pandemic, targets are missed, another long-term plan comes in. A&E 4-hour targets were last met in 2015. Cancer care targets last met in 2015. Do you see the point I'm making here?
Yes, and the point I'm making is things like the 4-hour A&E target in Wales hasn't been met since 2009.
So that makes it okay because
Not
Wales
at all,
are
but
missing it.
your charge was this is down to...
Well, you're the government running the
Indeed,
NHS England, which serves millions and millions of us. The Health Secretary being political, taking aim at the Labour-run Welsh service and blaming the impact of COVID. But at no point have you acknowledged that funding cuts hit waiting lists up to 2020, and that has been exacerbated by the pandemic. I think people who use the NHS feel it, and then they feel that you're not acknowledging their truth.
There were pressure on waiting times going into the pandemic because we have an older population. That in turn...
And had austerity and funding cuts.
But we're investing in our workforce, in our NHS estate, in the latest technology. That is how we build a sustainable NHS for the future.
So keep the faith is your message to the public?
Yes.
A country and its communities who have for so long kept the faith through a pandemic and its aftermath. An NHS never more loved and never more under threat. Beth Rigby, Sky News, Westminster.